Let's talk about data for a bit, since this talk is called Data, Digits, and Dummies. And my problem with numbers, I love numbers, by the way. I have a huge love of data and stats and everything else. I'm a huge geek when that stuff comes up. But my problem is data being used for the wrong reasons, okay? Here's a big data point that I used to use a lot, and I'm fessing up right now to you. If anybody saw my talks in the past few years, thank you for tolerating them. But if you did, you saw one of the things I talked about was Twitter and my reply ratio. It's a big thing. It was used in the first couple books. It's brought out there where not only have I tweeted over 100,000 times, which I have, but 82% of my tweets are replies. It'd be like, thank you very much, everybody, good night. They'd be like, oh, he's so good. He's connecting with people and relationships. What you don't see out of that data is my replies are different. Back in the old days, you guys remember the old days of Twitter? 2009, right? Last month, whenever it was, where when you were on Twitter, we were there to talk with each other. And I did what is called active replying, which is I went on Twitter, looked at the tweets, and said, who do I want to talk to today? And I jumped in. They said something interesting. I said something back. You know what happened? They replied back to me. Oh. It was like talking and stuff. It was weird. But as I grew larger on Twitter and became more, what's the word? Full of myself, I decided I have 100,000. If it wasn't for Justin Bieber, I'd be the most popular Canadian on Twitter. I got a huge following here. Yeah, check me out. Look, and we're doing this, and we're talking. Now my replies were still replies by the data, but the replies were reactive replies instead of active, meaning the only things I was replying to was people tweeting at me. Do you see the problem here? I was no longer giving to the ecosystem of social currency on Twitter. This is what's killing social. From a guy who lives it, this is killing social. A month ago, I said for the first time ever, why am I on Twitter? I've never said that. I've built my whole universe based on stuff that's happened through Twitter. And I questioned why, and I realized I'm the problem. I'm the actual, not me individually, but what I do, and all of us who do the same thing. Which is why I hate scheduling and automation and cross-posting. People say to me, I've always been against scheduling, always been against automation of social media, and people say, well, what's the problem? I said, you're not there. It's like sending a mannequin to a networking event. You're appearing, but you're not there, right? Yes? People now say to me, Scott, we got it fixed, though. We use a software, and not only do we schedule, but if somebody replies to the tweet, we get a message saying they've replied, and we go talk to them. That's selfish social. If you only talk to people who talk to you, we have names for people like that. I won't say what they are. Right? Jackasses. Those type of people, right? You've got to give. I stopped giving. Why? Because I was following too many people and accepting too many people. And any of you have ever said, including myself, Twitter's just too noisy now. We made the noise. We made the noise. It's like if I went in my room and turned on Metallica, maybe pre-Black Album. I turned on Metallica and turned it all the way up and said, it's too loud. I turned it up. You're following too many crappy people? You followed them. Unfollow them. We make our noise. We can bring Twitter back. We can bring social back. Just stop accepting anybody for any reason. The same thing for LinkedIn. It's the same thing for Facebook. It's not wrong to cull the herd. It's not wrong to only connect with the level of people you can connect with. I follow 33,000 people on Twitter because I'm a moron. Because I thought it was smart. I thought it was kind. I thought it was returning the favor, and all it is created my noise. And now I have to use hidden lists and stuff to follow people. So now it's just a lie that I'm following people. And speaking of lies, Twitter reach is always a good time for me. We got that data point out there, right? The data point of Twitter reach, so we got the hashtags. We take the hashtag, we multiply it by, let's say Scott's 170,000 followers. Multiply it by I've tweeted 10 times. We can do CMWorld, right? Let's say I tweeted about CMWorld, 170,000 followers. I did 10 tweets, about what I've done, times the hash plus a hashtag equals my reach is 1.7 million. Does anybody here see a problem right now? These are the metrics we're using to justify social. It's the great social reach around, okay? This is our reach. Thank you for getting the joke. This is our reach. If you don't get the joke, could you explain it to the... Okay. Not going to. Okay, so This is the whole point. We're exaggerating our metrics. This is the worst dishonest metric since the magazine pass-along metric of the old days. Remember that? Our subscriptions are 10,000, but we multiply it by 5 because people will pass it along 5 times. Do you smell that? You smell it? You smell the BS? Because it's really hard to smell when you're in the middle of it all the time. We don't need to lie about metrics. CMWorld's had enough tweets to say, look, 3,000 people have tweeted about it. That's awesome. We don't have to exaggerate anymore. We have the data to show we don't have to exaggerate. What about my favorite, Google+? Oy, caramba. The bane of my existence. So, they came out and people ran. The problem is with data is headline data. Hey, we'll just take this and run with it. 60% of Google+ users sign in daily. No, they don't. 60% of these people use Google services daily. Like Google it's a small startup. It has like Google and the YouTube thing. But they came out and said the users log in every day, but they're not going to the Google Plus feed page. But they're like, well, Scott, it's because Google Plus isn't a social media site. It's a layer. What? Layer is Latin for full of crap. That's what it means. It's a layer. Call it what you want. It's bad metrics. Be careful. The only benchmark that matters is the one you are testing right now with your data points, with your customers. I've heard the best time to email. I'm an old school email marketing guy from the late 90s, okay? And I've heard over the past couple years the best time to email. What do you think it is? 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., or 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.? Anybody know? But the answer is A, B, C, or D? The answer is all of them. That's 4 different studies. I don't have to make this stuff up. So what I learned from these studies is pretty much don't email at 4 p.m. That's it. Don't mail then. Time of day when you send out your newsletter is your 14th problem, a list of 14 things. Okay, I had a chiropractor once come to me and go, Scott, nobody's opened my newsletter, but I read on a blog yesterday. I'm like, that's your first problem, don't read. And he's like, I read on a blog that Tuesdays were better. Really? What was the subject line of your newsletter? It was November chiropractic update. And people aren't opening that. Oh, wow. I can't imagine why not. It's literally the last thing you have to worry about when you've checked every other metric. Nobody's not reading your crappy newsletter because it's Monday. Nobody has ever read your blog post and said, that's fairly mediocre, but they do send it out weekly, which is an optimal frequency, so I'm going to share it with my friends and family. It's crap. People share content that evoke emotion. I don't mean just laugh or cry. I mean that's solid content. Rather you write a solid blog post once every 3 weeks than a crappy one every day. Content doesn't need more stuff for the pile. Please, make your own pile. Maybe not a pile, but you know what I mean, right? Make it better. Hold the content standard higher. Because when we want to share your content, we deal with stuff like this, which is a QR code. And some of you know my issue with QR codes. QR codes kill kittens, available at the bookstore right now. So, this is a problem, okay? This is a QR code made with Oreo cookies. I know I got fellow geeks in the room, so don't scan it. Focus here. Stay with me. I don't have a problem with QR codes themselves. I have a problem with marketers' usage of them. They've led a wonderful life for decades in fulfillment and logistics. They're great for sports tickets and everything else. They're amazing for concerts, whatever, but not necessarily for consumer-driven marketing, okay? I have seen QR codes in emails. No, you are content marketers. You have no idea why that's funny, do you? Where's the camera? Here? Are you here? Okay. Did you just cut off? Are you there? Okay, you're good. I didn't see the red light. Okay, ready? I'm going to give you a workshop here, right? Kevin Spacey won't do this. Okay, so. Ready? The email comes here. Wait for it. Big reveal here. The camera that scans the code is back here. Unless I'm some sort of Jedi, I'm not scanning your code. I had somebody say to me once at an event in the audience, quite like this, says to me, Scott, some people read email on their computer. Well, then I'm already on the computer. What could you possibly put in an email on a computer that would allow me to go to a specific site on the internet? I don't know. A link that I could click. Nobody's ever looked at a link and goes, what's that? Do I smell it? What do I do? I have seen, I'm getting so mad. Okay. I have seen QR codes on websites. And I've scanned them. You know where they take you? Back to the website.